Hello everybody, it's Kozadi here. This might actually be my first video on the channel. Better late than never, I suppose. So the thing I wanted to talk about today is this trailer. There's a new trailer for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. Just kidding. It's actually called Tears of the Kingdom. We called it Breath of the Wild 2 for the longest. This was shown in the direct today. Super duper hype. Oh my gosh, man. Like, this is awesome. So all I really want to do is just kind of watch the trailer together and do a little breakdown analysis. I have a small theory about what we've seen already today that I would love to talk about. So as you can see right there in the title, it's The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, coming May 12th, 2023. People were calling it Breath of the Wild 2 longer than we were calling Breath of the Wild Zelda Wii U, and we finally have a title. So anyways, let's just jump right into it. It's only a minute and a half long trailer. It's very short. But right away it opens up. This is something I definitely want to talk about. I know a bunch of Zelda theorist YouTubers have already talked about this. HMK, I even saw NBC talking about it. This is a god or someone. Like, this is an important figure, obviously. You got these like Sheikah, almost Majora's Mask looking eyes. You got these like, it's almost like hair or like a cape or a hood that really looks like the Fierce Shadow is what it looks like. But I'm actually going to have a unpopular opinion here. Everyone's making comparisons and saying, oh, the Twilight are back. I actually don't think it's the Twilight at all. But I think it's rather the concept of the dark. There's always been like a dark tribe, like a third secret dark tribe, dark ritualistic tribe in Zelda throughout the series. We had the dark tribe of Majora's Mask, the dark interlopers, the Twilight themselves. I think this is the Zonai King or Zonai God or whoever. It could be their leader. It could be the person they worship, the deity they worship. It's definitely Zonai, though, I believe. And you'll see more about this person later in the trailer. So if we continue on, I'm going to be pausing a lot. So, right here was a dead giveaway. Oh, yeah, this is Zelda. There's some kind of war. I think this is actually an ancient tapestry depiction of the war from 10,000 years ago. Or at least part of the dark history of that conflict that we probably don't know as much. Like, we know that 10,000 years ago there was a Link in Zelda that sealed away Calamity Ganon and all that stuff, yada yada. This is like the dark history that is kind of swept under the rug, that maybe the royal family of Hyrule was like, nah, we're gonna hide this away. But you can see there's obviously malice coming through the evil forces, the bokoblins, the moblins. There's dead bodies. They're defending. And this is something I also this is the biggest theory in my mind. So here we have a bigger shot of that deity we saw in the beginning standing on some kind of sky platform, I'm assuming, considering this whole game has a lot of sky themes like Skyward Sword. You can't see it up here barely, but right here we have 7 items. Okay, now this is obviously, if you've played Zelda long enough, you know the history of the game and the lore and stuff. There's always a connection between the number 7 having to do with the sages of the game, like the 7 sages, but also their like corresponding story quest items. So for example, the thing that jumps out to me the most is obviously in Ocarina of Time, you have the 7 sages with the 7 medallions that represents each sage, the fire, forest, shadow. You got 7 items, right? These look like teardrops to me. In this like tapestry kind of hieroglyphic art style, these look like teardrops to me. Now I'm gonna quickly, go over here to Nintendo's. I'm gonna search sequel to Breath of the Wild trailer. This one. And right here in this trailer, right here. What is that? That's a fucking teardrop. That's a tear. So, again, Tears of the Kingdom. It's in the subtitle, and Zelda has always been this franchise where they take their... Not always, I should say. Most of the time. Breath of the Wild wasn't necessarily this. It was more of a more about the environment. But like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, The Wind Waker, you know, there are items in the game, or they're things of significant importance to the story in the game. It doesn't always have to be an item necessarily. But I feel that the tears are literally that. They're tears. They're these teardrops. And there's 7 of them. And they probably correspond to the 7 sages. I'm assuming we're going to see the 7 sages return. This is my biggest theory right now. I know a lot of people are also saying it could be tears of the kingdom. And, you know, we have the land being torn apart with the castle and everything. And that could also mean tears of the kingdom. I actually think it's kind of a motif of both, where the true meaning and the true pronunciation is tears of the kingdom. And the idea is with these tears and everything. But I think you could also interpret it as tears when you look at the land being torn apart and everything. So I just wanted to show you that really quickly. Let's move on, you know, to the rest of the trailer. I really do think that those are literal tears of some story significance, like items. Here we have some kind of sacrificial shit going on, obviously. This, honestly, it looks... People have been saying it's Ganondorf when he was, you know, bent backwards from the first trailer being sacrificed. I think it could be that, but I also think it could even be like Zelda, like the previous incarnation of Zelda. You know, this is giving like the same Skyward Sword vibes when she was, you know, being held by the imprisoned and shit. And then we got some more stuff happening here, and there's text, and this is that same like rune text, almost like ancient Zonai text that we saw from the second teaser trailer on the platform that Link's arm was on. This looks like a Sheikah eye. I'm assuming this is a Sheikah. This could even be Zelda herself. She's got the Hylian pointy ears, and she's doing some kind of hand communion thing with another figure, which you'll actually see at the end of the trailer. And then it opens up. We got the Ouroboros gates. You know, this is about what you'd expect. Sky gameplay. Something else I want to show off too is, you know, it almost looks like we're collecting the teardrops again from Twilight Princess, but it could power his arm. It could be magic meter stuff. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Dive right into the skydiving gameplay. Here's his reverse time stasis upgrade that we see him hopping on like a floating island's piece of rock that fell down. He's going back up. It's probably how he goes from the ground to the sky. We literally have forestation and like water, you know, tears. He's got his axe, like, you know, very tribal looking. And this is nuts to me. This shot is crazy, you know. Shout out to HMK, because I know he made a tweet about this. You can even see right here, too. There's these runes everywhere. And you'll see another one on a rock pretty soon. You know, you got the Malice coming through from under the castle, like we saw in the second trailer. Malice coming out of Death Mountain. Okay, come on. Tell me that's not Skyloft. Or at least, like, a representation of Skyloft. Like, you got all these sky islands, and there was all skydiving, Skyward Sword. Come on, man. You're not going to tell me they're going to do a nod to Skyloft somewhere in here. I'm not saying it'll be there or there'll be people there, but some kind of, like, nod to it. And then you got him on this, like, we upgrading to sci-fi gliders now, I suppose. And there's another, you know, like, rune, like, Zonai rune spread out on the ground. Scooch it back a bit. It was very faint, but you can see that one. I'm going to turn this down just a bit. And there's more, it looks like Zonai text or something. Like this green, like this is Zonai. I'm 100% convinced it's Zonai. Oh, you can even see here too. Here's something that I just saw that I don't think people missed. There's a hand spire. Wait. Okay. Kowalski analysis. This almost looks like the freaking hand spiral from the first teaser trailer, with the hand going down into Ganon's chest. Does it not? I mean, it's probably hard to see on the recording with YouTube compression, but that's looking like some kind of Zonai energy force. And then we got the Ouroboros here, and then title reveal. Now, real quick, I just want to point out, when we saw her doing the communion thing, you know, with the hands, we see that the person she's communing with is literally the Zonai tribe looking deity thing we saw in the beginning. Like, is it not? It definitely is. And there's clearly something going on there. And then you got 2 tiers. So maybe it's like a joining of like the royal family with the dark Zonai tribe, kind of like how you had the history of Zelda with Midna and she was the Twilight Princess. And it's like the people in the shadows working together with the royal family, you know. The Master Sword got completely wrecked, and we see it's being replaced by Zonai magic or something. And then, you know, subtitle. Now, the something else to point out, a very small detail. Listen to the noise it makes and the effect of the subtitle. It doesn't sound like a water droplet being hit against like a singing bowl or a pan. Like, it has to be tears, right? Like, it has to be those tears. Like, they have to be significant items to me. I'm very almost sure of that. You know, obviously we'll wait and see, but just in my head, I'm like, this has to be it, and that's it. That's yeah, release date obviously May 12th, 23. So it is spring. You know, it wasn't March, but it's still spring. I'll take it. And then when you go to the site, you know, it's just watch the trailer. You know, we got the key art finally with the cover art and everything. Yeah, they, you know, obviously the direct, they showed a bunch of other announcements. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I really wanted to share. Was that was my kind of analysis and like biggest theory in my head was that it was literal tier objects that have to pertain to the story in some way. So, you know, hopefully this will be the first video of many to come, because I'm very interested in making more content in Zelda and Nintendo themed content. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.